Yo, what is up, my bros and gals? It's Emily, and for my New Year's resolution, first thing, I'm going to come up with a less cringy intro than, yo, what is up, my bros and gals? It's like really cringy. But then again, I've been consistently cringe on this channel for the past 5.5 years. But going into 2023, I plan to change that. Sort of. For this year's vlog, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna start with the smaller stuff that I'm gonna be doing next year, and then build up to the 2 or 3 big reveals that I have. Firstly, as you might have noticed, this year was pretty dominated with MEPs. From saved ones by other people to the Sonic Boom pairing MEPs, there were a lot of them this year, and I'm probably not gonna do as many next year. I'll probably only have about 1, maybe 2 at the most open at a time, unlike the 7 or so I had open at one point. Another thing I might tone down more of is the lesser quality meme sort of videos. It's not the kind of content I want to be making, but it's the kind of content that all of you want to see. So I probably will still do them, but I don't know, I don't want that to be the focus of the channel. And the same with like the MEPs and like just chipmunks in general. I don't want that stuff to be the focus of the channel, even if that's what this year has kind of implied. And if I had to blame anything for that, it would probably be the LOL movie. Like, that movie drained the hell out of me. So my uploads for the second half of the year really took a bit of a dip because of me feeling less energetic and motivated when I got home from work. Something that has been fan requested, but I'll actually enjoy making, is another audio-based series, which is something that a lot of you seemed keen on when we did a stream a while back. So next year I'm going to start a mini audio-based series called Penelope Salon. It's going to focus around a new character, Penelope, as she runs Adelaide's first chipmunk-only salon. It'll be a combination of gossip of the Chi-Chiverse, as well as some ASMR sounds for nail filing, hair cutting, scissors snipping, that sort of relaxing stuff. I don't know how regularly I'm going to be doing these, or even if they're going to have a consistent upload schedule like the radio show did. I think it might just be a small thing I do in between projects. What are these projects? Well, that's where the big stuff comes in. For my first big reveal, can't believe I'm saying this, but after 5.5 years of Chi-Chi does stuff, I am officially quitting SFM. Yeah, it took me freaking long enough, but after everything I've gone through with uni and work, I've seen what superior softwares are out there. It was because it was a software that was familiar to me, whereas something like Maya was a lot more scary and new, and that SFM had the models pre-built into them, which is something I still don't really have any experience doing, or enjoy doing for that matter. It was easy to just plop them into a scene and make an animation. But I know better now. I've gotten a taste of better softwares. They may not be cheap softwares, but they are different softwares. Also, over time, SFM has just become a buggy, broken mess, and I don't know if it's my computer or SFM itself, but I've seen how outdated it can be, especially on a lighting level. Like, after doing lighting in Maya, it just shows how garbage SFM is. As for the 3D models, I think that's an issue that still hasn't quite had an alternative solution found to it yet. Because I'm not good at or enjoy doing 3D modeling, rigging. If you want proof of that, look at that mouse animation that I posted however long ago it was. I couldn't get the mouse to look good, and I couldn't make a skeleton that would work properly without the model turning into freaking something just weird. I've been working on improving my modeling on items like tables and chairs, but that's nothing compared to a walking, talking character. And it's not something I can just pluck from the internet like I could with a table or a chair. And that was the good thing about SFM. There were models that I could use, but I want characters like Chi-Chi and Caine to be more than just recolored SFM models. I want them to be like Charlie. They're Well, at least Charlie when she's drawn, not when she's an edited PNG. And speaking of which, that is sort of leading me towards potentially making 2D the dominant animation style on the channel. Something like the animation I had in the Shane Q&A, except probably better. The dilemma between 2D and 3D is what's halted my decision to try and do more big story-based videos on the channel, because we haven't really had a big story-based film since probably Prom King. And that turned out to be really bad. But I think that was mostly because I was rushing to get the film done before the season 2 premiere of Chi-Chi's radio show. With these films, I wouldn't have that deadline, so I could take my time with them, which I have been doing. I mean, Last Chance was supposed to come out right after the radio show wrapped. At that point, I hadn't even had 30 seconds of it animated. Now I have about 3.5 minutes animated in SFM, but trying to revisit and animate it was just a nightmare because SFM is garbage. And I've seen the light with softwares like Maya or new styles like the 2D rig style I used in the Q&A. So I'm still kind of tossing between 2D and 3D, but I think I'm leaning more towards 2D. But no matter what I do, I want these characters to all fit into the same environment. So it probably will be easier to do it in 2D because I can draw them all together, and that's something I got a little bit of practice doing with the What If speed edits. But yeah, animating them is going to be another story as a whole. As for 3D, the problem once again comes from the models, because I can't just pluck a Charlie model from the internet. I have to make it myself, and I am not good at doing that, and I don't enjoy doing it. I'm already doing pretty much every stage of the pipeline, and I do semi-enjoy all the stages of it, but modeling and rigging is just one that I could never find enjoyment doing. And you say, why don't you just get someone else to do it? Because that's what I've done in the past with voice acting and music, even though it's not music I asked someone to make, I just took from the internet. But yeah, the thing is, it's an expensive thing to do. Even the money I've made from the channel monetizing it this year is barely going to cover half of a 3D model. And that's just one model for one character, one variant of one character. I think for something like Last Chance, that kind of thing could work better because there's very rarely any time jumps or transformations. But there is one other project that I'm gonna announce today in this vlog, because it's probably gonna be the next big project I have my sights set on. Yeah, sorry Last Chance, you're gonna be shoved to the side once again. But this is definitely a film I'm doing in 2D because one, the characters shown in it have been constantly depicted in the 2D style, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or in the case of Prom King, was broken, but it won't be broken this time. And two, this is a film that is going to greatly utilize time jumps. Jumping from periods like the early 90s to the 2000s to the early 2010s, and then the present day of the film taking place in 2018. It's going to go through a lot of points in time where the characters are going to be aged up and change their hair, height, and all that would just be really difficult to do with 3D because, like I said, getting a 3D model made is expensive and I am garbage and can't do it myself. So doing it with 2D is the safest bet for this film. And I think that this particular film is going to be what helps me cement the 2D style. The Q&A was a bit more of an experiment, but this is going to be the first proper 2D animated project. And if it succeeds, then it'll likely be the dominant animation style for future stories. What is this story? Well, I won't say what it is, but I will tell you that it revolves around a certain family. A mother, a father, a sister, and another sister growing up and learning who he really is. I'll see you all next year. Peace out.